podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Thursday where nothing has happened so far, but things might happen later in the day. I wouldn't hold out any hope, but you never know. We know a couple of things, though. We know that in the Copa America, it will be Alexis McAllister and Argentina versus Luis Diaz and Colombia. Colombia 1-0 winners over Uruguay last night in the second semi-final of the Copa. A really good game in a lot of ways. Diaz played really well, single-handedly kept Colombia going forward, despite the fact they went down to 10 men before half-time, helped relieve pressure, doing a lot of the things that we saw him do in his initial spell with us, being that outlet ball, being that ball carrier, being that fearless one who gets the ball and just runs at people. We saw Darwin miss 2 chances for Uruguay in the first half. Now, in his defence, neither of them were particularly good chances when he picks the ball up. He makes them chances. Unfortunately, the finish is lacking on both. The second one, he came a lot closer to finishing than the first. The first, he was a little bit wild. But I suppose the Darwin talking point from this game is the fact that after the game, he scaled the stand and went in and started handing out what we would call, where I'm from, the few slaps. It appears like a bunch of Colombian fans were harassing the family members of the Uruguayan players, had rushed down and sort of surrounded them and overwhelmed them a little bit, giving them some verbal abuse. Doesn't seem like there was any physical abuse. However, many of the players had not just their wives and parents there, but also their kids. And Darwin's kid was there, who's, an infant. And upon being told this is what's happened, Darwin decided to dole out some retribution. Now, 1 or 2 Colombians did throw digs at him as well, but he drove back a yellow wall in quite impressive fashion. It was like a scene from 300, really. Watching Darwin, who had taken off his shirt, just march down a group of Colombians and send them scuttling backwards. And even the one who did manage to make contact with him with a punch, it didn't seem to faze him. He just continued to walk forward. He is most likely going to get banned from international football. How long that'll be for, we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't imagine it'll have any impact on his club career. I don't think they'll be likely to give him a club ban. Certainly hope they won't. And, let's be honest, an international ban is a good thing. It means he doesn't have to travel back and forth to South America. It means that during international breaks, he can have some rest, lovely rest, and that he can do training with Arne Slot and his coaching staff, rather than going off to work under Bielsa, who is an absolute lunatic and got everything that could possibly be gotten wrong in that semi-final last night. His team selection was wrong, his in-game changes were wrong, the substitutions were wrong. All in all, Bielsa had a stinker and is the primary reason that Uruguay have gone out. They'll point to some injuries and suspensions, and that's fair enough. But ultimately, it comes down to the fact that Bielsa had a stinker. So yeah, Alexis versus Luis in the final. I think you'd have to make Argentina strong favourites, going for 3 in a row, which only Spain have done before, obviously. Would be quite fitting if they were to complete the 3 in a row while Spain were winning their first international tournament since their 3 in a row. Spain will take on England in the final of Euro 2024. Obviously, we don't have any Spanish representation, but we do have 2 lads in the England squad, Trent and Joe Gomez. Gomez has not played any part in the tournament to date. Obviously, Trent did start the competition in the team and has been used, let's say, sparingly since then. He did not play at all last night, but England managed to win the game through a late Ollie Watkins goal and secure their spot in the final and potentially secure a knighthood for Gareth Southgate, which, if, history holds through, could potentially lead him to the Manchester United job. Sir Matt Busby, when he left United, they tried to hire Sir Alf Ramsey, Sir Alex Ferguson, and of course, before they hired Alex Ferguson, they tried to hire a man who would later become known as Sir Bobby Robson. So, Sir Gareth Southgate, manager of Manchester United, I think we'll all agree is fitting. I think we'll all agree that's exactly what we all want to see. We know United are going to sack Ten Hag. A 1-year extension is basically like, here's a little bit more rope, but you're done for. I would bet if Southgate had committed to it, they'd have given Ten Hag the heave-ho. I would bet significant money on it that he basically said if he leaves England after these Euros, he wants a bit of time off. So they've kept Southgate. Or they've kept Ten Hag while they wait on Southgate. Now look, things can change over time, so maybe by the time Ten Hag does get sacked, Southgate, who doesn't want it, has taken a different job, is still managing England. Who knows? But I would bet Jim Radcliffe, also, by the way, Sir, proper lizard people, I would bet he wants Southgate. I would absolutely bet money on it. He's a big fan. Tried to nick him and bring him to Nice after the first World Cup, or the second, no, the first Euros. Might have been the first Euro final. I think it was 2018, but it might have been 2020 or 2021 as it was. And he tried to hire him for Nice. Southgate wasn't ready to leave the England job. We know Dan Ashworth is a friend and a fan of Southgate. So it just seems written in the stars that Gareth Southgate, knighthood or not, will be United manager. What else do we have? This is Anfield's lead piece. It's on Darwin fighting the Colombian fans. I'd say fair play to him. Obviously, last night, Virgil and Cody were on the wrong side of the result and the wrong side of a very, very poor refereeing performance. And VAR performance, very questionable penalty given. But it means that Virgil and Cody can now have their 3-week break and will be back in training early in August. Ryan Gravenberch as well, obviously, but he hasn't played. Similar to Ibu, he's just been able to train and rest. So from a physical point of view, both of them should land back in pretty good nick. Same for Gomez whenever he gets back. It'll be 3 weeks after the final. But yeah, I mean, devastated for Verge. He had a really good tournament. Unfortunately, was let down by a really poor manager, truthfully. Let down by a really poor manager. Thiago has been spotted returning to former club over first post-retirement role. So there has been rumours that he's going to go to Barcelona and join the coaching staff there. Though it does say in this report on a temporary basis, because Thiago doesn't want a binding contract. What Thiago probably wants to do is take time, travel around Europe, experience life with his wife and his family, work alongside a couple of well-known coaches, get ideas and form what is going to be his own kind of coaching principles and fundamentals. He's still only 33, so he's really young. He has a long time to decide if he does want to be a manager, and he can spend the first year or two of that just going and learning from the best of the best. And he's the type that I would expect he'll take a wide-ranging view. So he'll probably spend some time at City. He'll probably spend some time at Bayern. Even though it's company, I think he'll still go just to see. I could see him rocking up to Atletico Madrid and just seeing how Simeone works. Perhaps Napoli, Inter. I think he'll come back to Liverpool and spend some time watching Slot. I think that's what he'll do. I think he'll travel around, watch who he views as, the 10 or 12 most important coaches and figure it all out from there. Guy's super intelligent, so it does stand to reason that he could be a very, very good manager. Fabio Carvalho should be playing in the Premier League. Can it be at Liverpool? This is written by Sam Milne. He spoke to Barry Cooper from the Hull Daily Mail, and they had a chat about Carvalho, who was there on loan, how he played, how he performed, the way he was used. So do check that one out. That's an interesting piece. Always good to get the whole view on it as well, because they're watching them every single game. And that journalist in particular is very highly thought of for any Hull-based insight, particularly transfer stuff, because he's got really good insight into the club, but also just for, how players train, their behaviour, their attitude, things like that. Okay, let's see. The 14 Liverpool players to start every game in a Premier League season. We'll have a look at that. Arne Slot is already putting plans in place for Liverpool's 12:30 p.m. kickoff curse. Okay, interesting. Good to know, because Jurgen's approach was largely just to have a tantrum, which I think was absolutely fair, but definitely caused them to give us more 12:30 games. I do think if Arne just doesn't react to them, and if we win a bunch of them, they'll probably stop giving them to us because it'll be less funny for them. Right, here are the players to start every game for us. Robbie Fowler, 94-95. If I'm not mistaken, that's a 42-game season. Let's see. Yeah, it's a 42-game season, which is really impressive. David James, 94, 95, 95, 96, 96, 97. Now, I would also point out, Fowler might not have started every game in 95, 96, but he did play in every game. The league had dropped to 38 games, and he played in every one of them. I don't know if he started them all, though. It's crazy. Robbie really only got 3 Like, he had the first season where he broke in 93, 94. Then he had 3 seasons of injury-free, able to play pretty much every week. He misses only 6 league games across the 3 years. That's all in 1 year. And then from there, it's just injury, 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 injury. So unfortunate. What a player. David James, 3 seasons in a row. Steve McManaman, 95, 96. And he started all 38 and finished 37 of them. Stigging Bjornaby, 96, 97. Sami Hyypiä, 99, 2000 and 03, 04. Sander Westerveld, 2000, 2001. Marcus Babbel, 2000, 2001. Carragher, 04, 05 and 09, 08, 09. Pepe Reina, 4 times. 07, 08, 08, 09, 09, 10 and 10, 11. Martin Skrtel, 10, 11. Simon Mignolet, 13, 14. Virgil, 18, 19 and 19, 20. Allison, 18, 19. Andy Robertson, 20, 21. So there you go. There's all the players who've started every league game for us in a season. Liverpool.com, see what's going on. There's a piece about Darwin punching Colombians. There's a piece about Diaz, Suarez and Darwin. Diaz looks like he went to Darwin after the brawl and tried to, calm him and console him, which is always good to see. It's another piece about Darwin and another piece about Darwin. There's a piece about Mo. Liverpool should pile on Chelsea misery as Michael Edwards can fix 3 million transfer error. We'll come back to that. There's a piece about Camille Grabara. Piece about Diaz and Darwin. Jurgen has been linked now to the US men's national team again. Greg Berhalter was sacked yesterday, and rightly so. And Jurgen has been mooted. I don't see it, but I think it will be a brilliant job for him. And I think what they should actually do is take him around the US and say, we don't just want you to manage the team. In fact, if you don't want to manage the team, that's fine. What we want you to do is basically oversee football, or soccer as they'll call it, in this country from grassroots up. We want you to help us put in place an academy system all over the country that makes sure that no talented player slips through the gaps. Both sides, male and female. Because obviously women's soccer over there is enormous. To have him oversee all of that, have him pick the manager for the national team, have him in charge of coaching coaches. I think that would be ideal for him, and he'd get to live in the States. Whether he wants to or not is another thing. Another piece about Darwin and a piece about Ollie Watkins. Right, what's this pile on Chelsea misery? Right, so it looks like Rio is going to sign this week. And at some point I will learn to say his surname. And the suggestion here is that we should sign Karim Adeyemi. We had him on trial in 2018. We decided against paying the €3 million that they were asking for, or that his club at the time were asking him for. I don't think we should sign him because, he hasn't really been good since going to Dortmund. He's been quite disappointing. So I'm not sure it's fixing a 3 million error. I think it will be making a £35 million error, to be honest. Let's see. Chelsea furious with Liverpool. According to some crappy Spanish outlet, we've made an offer for Gleison Bremer. You can throw that one in the bin. According to Team Talk, Al Nazir have held talks with Alisson. You can throw that one in the bin. Liverpool is willing to match Manchester United's bid for Lenny Yoro, but only if the defender indicates he's changed his mind on a move to Real Madrid. It's danger Ben Jacobs. You wouldn't actually believe a word the fella says, but I said yesterday I think that is the case. If he indicates he's ready to go to somewhere that's not Real, I think we would make the move. According to CM Journal in Portugal, João Neves is our main priority. Again, I would throw that firmly in the bin. This piece about Jeremy Frimpong, his buyout, I think, expires on Monday. Coutinho. Sport in Spain claims Barcelona have the upper hand in a battle to sign Nico Williams and have already reached an agreement in principle on personal terms. Sport are a well-known Barcelona fanzine, so seems unlikely that they have. Well, I think they will get him. I think that's a move that's almost certain to happen. Liverpool decision imminent as clock ticks down on 50 million playmaker. That is Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo would be a brilliant signing if it wasn't for the fact that he's so injury prone. So I just don't see us making a move for him. And it's a shame because I would absolutely love us to get him. You get him as the 10, Dom on the left, Mo on the right, Darwin as the 9, Alexis as a holding midfielder, and all of a sudden you've really got something that is creative, inventive, incisive, has goals, has pace, has power, but you just can't overlook the injuries with this lad. Like, if we look at his career, he didn't really have any problems until he went to Leipzig. He joins Leipzig, he suffers a torn muscle fibre, which he then re-injures, and he misses 17 games in total from those two injuries. He also misses 2 games that season to COVID, but you throw that out, that's irrelevant. 17 games to injury. The following season, he suffers a knee ligament injury and then suffers another torn muscle fibre, which I believe is the same one he torn the year before. He misses 13 games with the knee injury and 7 with the muscle injury. So that's 20 games missed. So now 17 and 20. And in this past season, he has another knee injury, misses 11 games. Then he has a joint dislocation of his shoulder at a clavicle, which sounds not very nice. He misses 16 games to that, and then he misses 2 games through muscle injuries. Now, the positive is that the muscle injuries appear to have cleared up, but the likely reason is he had already missed 27 games. So he misses 29 games through injury last year. So 17, 20, 29. 66 games missed through injuries in 3 years. Like, we're just not going to do that. And it is a shame because he is outstanding. He always makes the right decision. His dribbling is great. His passing's outstanding. But, like, he'd never really had injury issues until he went to Leipzig. His first season at Leipzig, he plays 46 games, 32 in the league. And then it's 31, 25. Like, it would be signing Thiago again. Not as good as Thiago, obviously, but, you know, a really good player who'd just always be hurt. Virgil had some comments about the referee. And don't blame him, but he did hold himself back so he wouldn't get in too much trouble. There's another piece about Darwin punching Colombians. There's a piece about Alisson. Another piece about Alisson. Alisson Becker plan is revealed. I think this is the nonsense about Al Nazir. This piece about Ibu. Liverpool wonder kid could be set for Pep Lijnders reunion. This is Bobby Clark. There's a piece about Mo. Wonder kid agrees deal. That's Rio. Weaving Kelleher. Okay. Let's check in and see what Dave OC Cop has for us. There's a couple of pieces about Darwin. Okay, we'll check these two. Liverpool youngster wins Arne Slot pre-season fitness test. I believe that's Connor Bradley. I believe it is Connor Bradley. I'll check anyway. Okay. Hull City confirm. The Hull. Okay. Oh, Zach Jagielka, who's Phil Jagielka's son, has left our academy to go and join Hull. Don't know anything about the lad, but best of luck to him. Former Liverpool star completes loan move to boyhood club. That is Phil Coutinho. Saudi minister claims Liverpool rejected astronomical loan deal for Mo Salah. Okay, so allegedly the Saudis, after failing with a 150 million offer, they then made a loan offer. And the Saudis are describing it as astronomical. Now, if they think it was astronomical, it must have been something fairly huge. Liverpool youngster wins fitness test. I'm not sure what the Slot fitness test isn't. He doesn't do the beep test. Yeah, it was Connor Bradley. It was Connor Bradley who won it. Let's check out AnfieldIndex.com then. There's a piece about Ruben Peters, the new assistant of Arne Slot, and how he can help Liverpool overcome injuries. He is very highly regarded in his field. There's a piece about Darwin. There's a piece about Trent not playing. There's a piece about Eberechi Eze, who continues to be linked to us. There's a piece about the Turkish winger, who I just can't see us signing. And then podcast-wise, it's basically just me. It is the Daily Red every day. It is the Euros pod every day. Those are available on Pro and on EPL Index. There is Two Footed every day, which is available on EPL Index. And then, other than that, we've got Buzz, which if you haven't listened to them, go and listen to them, please. And the most recent pod, then, other than that, was the Media Matters pod with Eddie and Dave, stepping in for Dave Davis to talk to David Lynch. So that's basically it. I'll be back tomorrow.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.